welcome to oh my goodness. Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine, and let me take a quick check to make sure that I am live and this is going on. Let me double check this because I think I have a way to check comments now. The last couple times I've streamed, I haven't been able to see your comments, and it looks like we are good, so I should be able to get your comments when we're in between the sketches, because today I'm going to be streaming my interpretations for the February 2026 Creative Memories virtual crop. Finally, sorry it's taken me a little bit longer. The sketches were harder, but I also have been traveling quite a bit, and I think it's gonna continue a little bit as well up until our move, and then hopefully things will settle down a little bit again once we get to California. So it is going to be what it is. I appreciate those of you who have subscribed and have continued to watch and stick with me, even though sometimes the schedule changes a little bit. I appreciate you being flexible. Really, really, really do. So how's about we get to these sketches? Let me get things switched over here. I'm still learning the new system, but I think I can do it. There it is. Okay, I think I've got the mic on and the video looks set, and I know my desk is a little bit of a mess. I'm going to double check for comments real quick now that I can. Let's see here. Yep. Okay, good deal. I can do it. That's hooray. It's nice to be able to see if anybody has a question about what I'm doing, because this one is definitely, the first two especially, are a little bit more than, well, the last two have a good bit going on also. But let me go ahead and hold this up, and I know this does not look bad. Hang on one moment. I've got there we go. Okay. Oh, I had a couple tech issues this morning and it looked like it was going to continue, but I think I got it fixed. Okay, we are going to be using On the Bright Side, and I know this looks really simple, but once we're done, it's going to be simple. However, getting there is going to be a little bit more, because as you can see, I have all of this going on with what is going to be used to put together our layout. And I want to show you especially how I cut my paper, because I wanted to use the diagonal paper, or I wanted to use the paper in this collection. I knew we had a striped paper. Now, the striped paper that's in this collection actually has vertical or horizontal stripes. Let me pull out my index sheet real quick. I knew there was something else I needed to grab, but with the tech issues, sometimes. Okay, there's tonal. Here's the regular one. Okay, it's here. I got it. I can do it. Here we go. So the paper that I am using as my primary paper for this one is this paper. But from the sketch, we needed diagonal stripes. Now you can use probably this one as well if you want to make things easier for yourself. Just use the pinwheel one. It already kind of has a little bit of a diagonal effect to it. But I really wanted to use this one, and we are actually going to use both sides of the paper. So I really am, hang on, let me get this back in my folder. I'm going to show you how I went from this to this, which is part of what took me a little bit the other day when I was working on these. So I'm going to show you, I did show you the primary paper we're using, the one with the diagonal stripes. It does have, I'm sorry, I keep saying diagonal and it's vertical or horizontal, but with the way I cut it, I think of it as the diagonal one now. It has the yellow crosses on the back of it. See, stripes. And then I also am adding a piece of our Deep Orchid cardstock. Now, I don't know. Yep, it actually is on our recommended cardstock because we know every so often Catherine does add a extra cardstock color, but the Deep Orchid worked with this one for me anyways. I'm going to place these up here. I'm going to move my embellishment. I'm going to scooch this over a little bit because I also want to show you my base paper that I picked. And you can see there's just a whole lot going on here. Okay. For the base paper, I am using this one, the one with all the color splatters on it. And it does have a grid with a little bit of distressing at the top and bottom of it. And I am purposefully using it with the pink to the bottom right and the purples, I guess if you will, to the top part. So I want to keep my paper the direction I want to use it. I'm going to go ahead and put it to the side a moment because I'm going to show you how I cut this first using one of our index sheets, because I know it's kind of similar to what I did with the layout. I have to take my clip off. I always use a little binder clip on my trimmer when I travel, and since I literally just got back last night, I have to take that off. Okay. So this is similar to what we did for that the extended X layout that I showed over Christmas. I believe it was my Creative Crew video. I will link it. I will link the short that I show how to cut it. But you're going to line up two of your corners diagonally. You're going to gently fold it and roll it underneath the bar of your 12-inch trimmer. You're going to line this up using one of your horizontal lines across the bottom of your trimmer. It doesn't really matter which one, just so long as you get it reasonably straight. You don't want to push down all the way because you don't want that crease to be too set, but you do want to be able to cut it. And then just double check with your cut guide. So you know we have these little cut guides that you can pull down from the top and the bottom of your trimmer as well. And then go ahead and cut. Now, I am keeping mine folded here because I am going to push it in to 1 1/4 inches, and then I did a secondary cut. So you want to make sure it stays folded as the triangle, and then push it over to 1 1/4, and make sure it stays lined up across the top and across the bottom. So you are using all of your grid lines on your trimmer, and then go ahead and cut again, because this is how I got our diagonal lines. And then what I did was I went ahead and I left one of my corners angled because it's essentially, we're going to be doing some corner mitering. And I went ahead and cut the other one on my trimmer at the 45-degree line. And how long did I make it is the question. And usually I am very meticulous about writing this down. Oh my goodness, and I have a spider on my desk. Whew. Let's hope that doesn't come my way. You just never know what's going to happen when you're live. Okay, so hang on, let me get stripes, fold, points of triangle, cut it 1 1/4 inches. I was so worried about making sure I had my 1 1/4 inches. I did not get the length. So we are going to just measure real quick because it's going to fit the 12 inches here, but I'm just going to go ahead and line this up real quick just to make it a little bit quicker so I can show you all. That's not the right way. We need to flip this and go this way because we want it to be straight. We want our corner to be angled, and I'm going to measure this. I think I probably winged it. I hate to say it, but to make sure I got it exactly to that 12 inch we're cutting off, I will measure it. So here's where I'm cutting, and I cut off basically 6 inches, but it's 6 inches this way. It's not 6 inches this way. So this other direction, it is, I know this is a little bit, 4 inches essentially. So you're taking off 4 inches basically to get your 12 inches from top to bottom on your page. Now I did cut off on both sides of my triangle. I cut off that 1.25 inches, and then I also cut off several 1/2 inch strips as well. So I'm going to show you. I know it's, like I said, it's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit more, but like I said, it's so long as you keep your triangle folded and you put it in your trimmer and you make sure you're lined up and you're using your 45-degree line, you will have it. Leave me a comment and I can pull this back in at the end. I just don't want to spend too much time doing the demo for the cutting. So let's get to putting this layout together a little bit as well. Okay, so we have our left side of the page, and I hope that, like I said, I knew I was going to have a hard time explaining it. And then when I went to expand the single page layout into the double, I really want, okay, this spider is going to bug me. Let me see if I have something I can get it with, and I don't know if I do. Well, if it comes out, I'm gonna be a little spooked, but okay. Okay, so I have a note to self to start centering with the square in the center. So this is the end of that triangle that we had on the other. You can see I still have a little bit of a fold in it. It's from the paper. Essentially, it's the 2 triangles that were at the very end after I finished cutting off my 1/2 inch strips and my 1.25 inch strips, and then I think I took off just a little bit more to make it a 6 3/4 inch square when they're put together. So I do want to center this, and of course I forgot to grab my tape runners. So give me a 1/2 second to grab those from my bag, because we're not going to be putting anything together if I don't have those. Okay, and I know my soap, I don't need my scissors because those are still packed too. I have refills just in case I need them. I grabbed my foam squares. There's my post-it notes just in case I need it to kill the spider with. All right, well, put my pencil up. Okay, now we're ready to put this together, hopefully. All right, goodness gracious. I know it's Friday morning, but it feels a little Monday-ish now after all that. Okay, we want to center our 6 3/4 inch triangles to make a square on our base here. And I feel like I need to catch my breath a second. Goodness. There, it's just, I don't know. Okay. So we do need to go, what was that, 2.5, 1, 2.5 here. So it's a little bit over 2.5. Nope, it's a little bit, let's see if that's at the 0. That's 2.5. Nope, we're in between the 2. Yep, we've got about 2 and what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8, which I guess makes sense if you have that 3/4 mark. And I'll roll my new the 0 centering ruler now, the border ruler that they have that will slide across your mat. It's super nice. And there we go. This one actually hits closer to that 2.5-inch mark at the bottom here. Let me see if I'm actually centered here. 3 and 3/8. Actually, it's 3 and 3/8. Look at that. It's a lot easier when your zero's in the center and you can just roll up and down. So I did get it centered. I just was not telling you the correct mark here. Okay. It's Friday. It's Friday. Deep breath. We'll yeah. Can tell it's definitely flustered me a little bit. It's okay. But we've got our square down. And I want to make sure I have my foam squares and this ready just in case, because I keep seeing the spider, but it's not coming close enough for me to get it. You just never know what's going to happen in life sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this aside because everything else I do have measured and ready to go. I have my, what are now diagonal lines from my cutting. This one is for the bottom of my page because I did want the lines to go a certain direction. I have my 1/2-inch strip, and I believe, again, I think I just winged it. I measured it right next to the other one to make sure that they were even. I'm going to go ahead and piece this together for you all. These are the 1/2-inch strips, same paper, just the opposite side of the paper, and I guess you know which one has to go where based on which side of the paper is going up. I also did do some of our orchid. Okay, and I know I have them here. Okay, I did do also some of my orchid, and I mitered it around our center square because I thought since we're highlighting these, we're going to highlight our square as well. It just adds an extra decorative element, but it also adds consistency to our page. And I just left these long, and I am going to need my scissors, aren't I? Okay, well, let's start sticking things down, and then I'll go grab my scissors so that way I don't have too many things to grab here because we're going to cut those off on the opposite side of the page. But you can see by going to that essentially 12-inch measure, we have these stripes coming in. And the one thing I couldn't do was angle them exactly the way they were on the sketch. But, you know, I'm okay with that. It works. I think adding in the deeper color helps. And I don't think it's really going to matter once we have our photos on the page as well. And I think this also, just using both sides of this paper does help to, I mean, if you love the bright colors, I actually don't mind them. I like them. I think they're beautiful papers. They're just a lot. It took me a little bit to actually coordinate the colors a bit as well, and just to make sure I got the color palette right as well, because I didn't want it to be so much color that it was going to overwhelm the photos either, because a lot of these colors are more, I don't know, like I have some of this in, I think some of my maybe rodeo photos where there's soil's orange. So I think, you know, in nature there are a lot of these colors, especially if you have maybe some florals and things along those lines, or if you have a kid's party, maybe that would be another good thing, or any birthday party really. But I think you just kind of have to be mindful as to which photos that you're going to use with this collection as well. I mean, I guess I don't know. I tend to coordinate my photos in the collection sometimes. It just, since I think about color a lot, again, I think it's just because I'm a chef and food technologist by training. One of those things is color that I always think about. And I think about it with my photos too, when I go to put those on the page as well. And I know I don't show that many on my channel because my children don't want me to show them on my YouTube channel, and my husband is active duty military, so I try to, be a little more private, I guess, in that regard. But I have shown you all some of my landscapes and some photos of me from time to time as well. So hopefully y'all are getting some ideas, enjoying my channel, even though I don't always have the photos that some of the other advisors are showing. And there's this going around here. And I also will show you with my photo cards where I am going to be putting photos on this page. I just can't show you my actual photos is all. There's that one. And hang on, I think I just flipped that. Yep. Because that goes that way. When you miter your corners, use that 45-degree line. It's going to make your life so much easier. And you just need to make sure to flip when you cut to make sure you get the corners that go where you have the angle, the 45-degree angle. And to bring those two together, it's pretty simple. You just line them up and they come together nicely. I'm actually going to go over my paper just a hair with that one because it needs it. Otherwise this one was nice and flush, but since this goes through this, also the diagonal that follows where I cut the paper, it is what it is. Now, I also did cut 2 4x6 mats from our Deep Orchid as well. This is something that is me going off the sketch, giving you all another idea of something you can do with this page. And we're going to center this one again, so hold on. I have another use for my new tool. This is actually pretty exciting. So go to the 3-inch mark. I need to move it over. It's pretty easy just to scooch along your cutting mat here and bring it in, put it down, and voila. There we go. You all might be seeing this little tool more from me instead of my regular 0 centering ruler all the time. Okay. And now let me go find those scissors so I can put in our last couple touches here. Okay. Here we go. They were closer than I thought they were, which is always nice. Flip your paper over, just go ahead and trim those off because essentially you do need to cut 12-inch strips for these. And by that point I was kind of like, do I do the 6 3/4? Do I just let it go? And we can use these strips somewhere else. And another layout for a card. Maybe that's something I should come back and do a card for you all, but right now I don't know, and I'm worried about finding the spider, so hold on, because it's running around my tray. Let me move these. Yep, okay, hang on. Whoa! All right, try to do this off camera. Sorry, little spider. Okay. Now, I have my Life is Better with You embellishment that's going to go up here. I have our blue flower. I've cut that one in half because we need that one for both pages because our stripes are going to carry through both pages, and our embellishment is going to carry through both pages as well right here. And our stickers for this collection are clear. So I took a piece of our cardstock, and of course it's one of the newer blue colors. I'm going to hold it up closer for you all. Leave me a comment if you would like to know which color I used, but this was the clear blue flower sticker from our sticker pack. I'm going to pop this one up on a small foam square. Let's see if I can find the one that I was using already here. And we are going to place this on here. And I'm actually going to just look for the 6, because I will center that one as well. And this one, so this one I guess the measurements matter a little bit more as far as placement anyways. This one's going to go straight on our page. And we're going to place this in this space here because, you know, you took all that time to cut all of these mitered corners, all of these 45-degree lines. You want to make sure people can actually see them. And if you want, you can also take a little bit of your repositionable tape and get your corners nice and tight as well. But don't forget you're going to have a page protector on there as well. Let me get my repositionable tape for the embellishment. Get myself on camera with my border mat here. Okay. And this is just going through here, the center, right along the center. And it was just easier for me to cut this one on the trimmer. You can pop it up if you want, but I don't know if it'll line up as easily if you pop it up, which is why I'm doing the just repositionable tape on that one. Okay. Let's cut that over, put this up here, move my Post-it notes. We have completed the left side of our page. I feel like that was a little bit of a, what is it, the 500-meter dash or something? It's not quite a marathon and it's not quite a sprint, but I feel like we had a lot going on to show just on the left side of this page. Maybe you can see why it did take me a little bit longer to design it. And now let's bring in the right side of our page, and then I will show them both together and I will show you it how I'm thinking of it would look with photos as well. Okay. Page number 2, well not page number 2, but the right side of our page. And you might notice on this one, I have the purple down here and the pink and the orange in the top. And again, that's on purpose. Let's see, I have my strips. I have another sticker that I put on cardstock that it was the blue, but which blue I'm gonna have to look up because my brain is not recalling the new color right now. And if I tell you something, it'll probably be wrong because I have a tendency sometimes to make up cardstock names. Just like the calling the tangerine one sherbet all the time. So I'm gonna try to not do that with this one, but it is one of our newer blues. Okay, we are gonna start. I probably needed to start with the square again, which I probably did, but I'm gonna go ahead and place this down since I put tape runner on it. We have our other 1 1/4 inch striped paper there. We get our 2 squares for our corner, or our center here. Oh my goodness, this layout. I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna survive it, right? Okay. I think I'm really happy with how it turned out. You might not be able to tell yet, but I really, really am. Okay, I'm placing this back on my mat here, and again, I'm going to place these so where it's going to run the diagonal through the corner that I miter as well. Yeah, we're going to have the two straight edges together, if that makes sense. And what did I say? It's about at the 5/8 mark here. Let me just lightly push this here, maybe. Okay, work with me. Here we go. I said it was 3 3/8, I think. Is it 3 3/8 or 3 5/8? Here's 3 3/8. Right here, bringing it in. Oh, that's over just a little bit too far. I've got to bring this back over just a hair bit more. 3 3/8. It's right here. Because my top triangle's not quite straight either. So again, just a little bit tricky here. Oops. Okay, come on. Here we go. My paper's not straight either, which probably would help too. And take your time as you're doing this, because you want to make sure, like I said, this one, the where you put your pieces matters a little bit more. Visually it matters a little bit more as well. Okay, no, my paper's off or my triangles are off, and I think it's the paper. Sometimes Creative Memories does have that little bit of an allowance for when I have the paper size. Either that or it's my squares off just a hair, which could be also. I'm not, definitely not perfect that way, that's for sure. But I do want this diagonal line to line up. I'm getting the corners lined up here, and yep, it's going to be just a slightly off, but it is. I have 3 and I'm at 3 1/4. Oh no. Yep. Okay. I need to bring it down. Okay. Sorry about this, folks. It's like I said, getting it centered matters. And maybe I just didn't have, I need to put this one down. Okay, this is the one I need to get lined up better. Just get my paper back over on the edge here. Okay, yep, that's definitely, that edge is off just a hair. But when you get it into your book, it won't be off, because visually you should be okay. 3 3/8 is right here. Move you down. So here's that. And then it needs to go over. So here is that one. Okay. Now let's make sure this is also 3 3/8. Nope, I must have had the wrong measurement, or something's happened here. Okay. Here's my 0. There's 3. There's 3. There's 3 1/2. That's 3 1/4. Yep, it does need to go up. So it's not quite. Why did I? Oh, because I was measuring from the wrong. Ay. Okay. I was off an inch. 3 3/8 is right here, Catherine. Okay. Bringing it up, bringing it over. Okay, that should do it. Yep, okay. Sorry about that. That was really a little bit longer to get this one lined up just right. But I think it's going to be worth it. Here we go. There's that. And here comes in this one. Now, yes. Whew. Okay. Dare I check it against my other side now? Yep. See, all that hard work paid off. Just making sure we have it pretty much right on track here. And once we get our orchid in, we'll be in good shape. Okay. So here's our top, here's our bottom. Here's these. Coming in this way and this way. This one's coming in here. It's like doing a puzzle a little bit. That one's over here actually. These two are top and bottom. Wrong way, that's the top one. This one is the bottom one, and this one is over here. Okay. And then I have another 4x6 mat. All right, these are all my 1/2-inch strips. And all right, let's get our top ones and then the bottom ones. Oops. Get those down. I went a little bit over on my tape runner here, so I want to fold it over. It's easy enough to do, just so that way it's not showing. Okay. All right. Ah, going a little bit too close to the edge there. There we go. Again, I got a little bit more folding to do here. It's easy enough since we have these nice little strips that come out as little rectangles almost, if you will. There's that. Okay, and these actually are 7 3/4 by 1/2 inch. I did myself a favor writing that one down at least. So this is 7 3/4. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I winged this just so that way I can measure it to the edge of the page. It's just one of those things where it was a little bit of trial and error, but I got it done. And it's also where you don't have to be 100% perfect on some of these things either. Okay, come together. There's that one. And last one, and then we'll flip it over and trim it. See how I did on that one more. And that, and this one is definitely feels a little bit taller. I don't know if my square's either smaller, so I wonder if that's where I had a little bit of trouble then. Either my square's a little bit smaller or my strip is just a little bit off. I'm going to grab my scissors here, and maybe don't try this at home, but I'm going to just take a little trim. Bring this closer to my actual corner where I wanted it. And you know what, folks, this is why paper crafting is awesome, because you can just use your scissors and trim things a little bit, and so it's not quite a perfect seam, but it's sharper than what it was a second ago. And I'm just going to scooch this in just a hair now to close that gap. And there we go. Easy enough. Scissors can help fix a lot of problems in paper crafting and scrapbooking and card making, for that matter. Here we go. Okay, let's grab our other 4x6 mat here, place this on our page. And again, I want to center this one. Let me get this lined up again here. And I'll bring in my ruler again. And just go ahead and pop this one on. Oops, doesn't matter that it's upside down because I know where the 3 is. This one is not as complicated of a measurement as getting that other one straight. Here we go. And now we also have a tag embellishment that we can use for some journaling if we want. You can also journal on your lighter colored areas of your page, or even on the darker, really. Okay. Here's this one coming up here. Again, it has some straight lines, but it also has, its corners have that little 45-degree angle on it too. And yes, I did cover up one of my angles, but that is what it is. Let's use a little bit of repositionable tape on the other half of our flower, which I'm going to bring in from the other side. And then I do have the yellow flower as well from our clear stickers. Again, I used that newer blue colored cardstock that I can't recall the name of off the top of my head, but let's see here. I kind of want these to be visually similar, so this is going to be right at the 6 again. Here we go. And with the foam square, it keeps it popped up enough that you can slide your photo under there. And now let's get this one placed. Our other embellishment here at the top. You know what, I'm just going to line up at the top here, that line, and the line here going across our 1-inch line. Here we go. Let's put this guy together. The flower. Okay, we have a 2-page layout. Let me clear my desk and I will bring in my photo cards and we'll take a look at this real quick, and then I'll check for comments. It's coming. It's coming. I'm getting it cleaned up. Whew. Okay, I know every once in a while I say you're not supposed to break out a sweat when scrapbooking, but this was one of those, I think, that almost caused me to break out in a sweat a little bit. But here we go. This is our 2 pages together from our single sketch to our double page. And again, just running those lines in, you can kind of, it almost is a little bit like that X layout a bit. And like I said, when I went to cut the lines, I couldn't get, you know, obviously you're not going to be able to get them to go up and down, but rather than placing a lot of strips, which you can, it just is an easy way to make the paper do the work for you, which is one of the things that I love to do as well. So here was our sketch, and I mean, I did kind of try to honor some of the outlines. I did try to honor some of the square, but I also, again, like as usual, I do like to use the larger photos. So I wanted to add the 4x6s to the edges, and let me get out my photo cards so you all can see what I'm thinking here. Part of the reason I did the 6 3/4 inch square was so we could do a couple of other. You could do an entire 4x6 in the center. And then your 3.5 by 5.5 on the edges. Or you could also do a couple of smaller, if you have vertical or horizontal, with your 3.5 by 5.5. You could kind of squeeze it in. I don't think it's a bad thing that you would have this little edge, because you have the purple here outlining your photo as well, but you could also do a couple of horizontal ones as well. So again, trying to give you some options for your photo trimming and coming in on this layout as well. So there you have it. Okay, I'm going to check the comments in just a second. Let me scoot this aside. That was on the bright side sketch number 1. I did just try to pull the whole thing apart and bring in components of the sketch. I mean, they did have this solids at the top and bottom as well, which is why I brought these in as well. So that's kind of when I've been trying to explain to you all a little bit more about how I'm looking at these sketches, and it just, when you go to make a single sketch, a double, you do just really have to pull out certain pieces and decide where you want the focus to be. And for me, it all started with the paper. Okay, so I'm going to leave that here a second while I go ahead and check real quick. That way I'm not doing dead air or anything here. Let's go in here, see if we have any comments. Not yet. Okay. All right. Let's go to sketch number 2. This was another one that was a bit of a challenge for me. And this one I used our Natural Beginnings collection for. Oh. And you can see I've got pieces, I've got strips. I've got so much going on here. Okay, hang on. I have a note about starting in the middle on this one, but let me hold this up so that way you all can see. This one definitely has a lot more writing on it. I am going to do this, grab my left side of the page. I'm going to move my right side back over, make sure I don't have anything stuck to the bottom, because I think that happened to me once also. And with this one, I turned the sketch a little bit. We're going to be placing our borders at the outside, but I pulled this part up. So it's kind of where we're honoring the sketch again, but just making it function a little bit more smoothly as a 2-page layout. I also brought in our Sunrise Scallop Border Maker cartridge, and with this one, I cut it at 1/4 inch because it is an edge. Hang on, nope, I'm sorry. I cut it at 3/4 inch because it is an edge Border Maker cartridge. I used the kind of it's in the avocado family green paper that has the green stripes on the back of it. And I also did bring in our Sunbeam frame punch. This one was in secret box number 1. If you didn't get secret box number 1, it's still available. Go grab it because this is a really, really fun punch. So I cut these at, where did I cut these at? Hang on one second. Let me see if I wrote myself a note on it. This was a cut at 1.5 inch. And then I also did, when I was punching my sunrise scallop border maker, you get this tiny little strip that comes off when you're punching. You need to keep that if you want to make your layout similar to mine. I don't use this piece very often, but this layout just spoke to me that it needed it, so I kept it. Okay, shifting things around a little bit here. Let's set this aside. I have a couple of mats. So this one has the green gingham on the back of it. I also did bring in the wood tone paper that has the beige plaid on the back of it, and this one. It has the, so it's a beige, again, it's got the, it's like a patterned stripe coming down from it, and it does have a kind of almost quirky looking brown, but it's a darker cork color, so on the back side of it. And with that one, we're doing a ton of triangles from it. We've got some embellishments coming in. I did bring in a tiny piece of our lined paper that we have. This I think was in our school days collection, but it just was helpful with this tag because you can journal on here, you can do some other things. You can use your white Jelly Roll pen on this as well if you don't have the striped paper or don't want the striped paper, but I just thought it added a little extra to the page as well. So now I need to remember how I lined up all my triangles because everything got shuffled in our trip home. Yay! Okay. Like I said, remember, okay, probably also would help if I'm all the way on camera, but hey, I need to show you the base paper also. This one is the darker brown with the woven kind of almost canvas look to it. Backside has the lighter tan. It kind of does have some, I don't know if it's distressing or what to it, but look for the dark brown canvas if you want to make the layout just like mine. You'll see at the end. Okay. So now, first things first, I need to start in the middle because as you can see, I have half of a sunbeam here, and this is going with this. So let me place these real quick because otherwise I am going to be off somewhere, and I know I just don't want to be off. These two, okay, we're going with the longer diagonal side out. These are what are my squares? Did I have it on here? Yeah. Okay. It's a good thing because I didn't write it on my other ones. So that little piece of white line paper was 1 3/4 by 2 1/4, and I cut 10 2 1/4 inch squares diagonally from that paper that I said had the tan with the decorative look to it. I wanted the diagonals going out and then in. So here we go. It's going this way. And I may need to fix my pattern a little bit because of the way the lines are running. That might bother me a bit. But let me just get myself straightened out here again. First, diagonals running down this way and this way. Okay. And then that one is not right. This one was supposed to be this way. And then this way. And then these two are going this direction and this direction. Okay. So it is pretty much, so my squares are just a little bit smaller than what they recommend. This is 2.5 and I did 2.25, partially because I knew I needed space for my border at the sides as well. And let me see here. Does that make sense going across? That's fine. That's across. This one, if I flip it, nope, it's still gonna be going up and down. Okay, so it doesn't really matter with my paper here. Okay. Here we go. So we are going to be adding a little sunbeam into the center of each one of our little square sections here, and then there we also are going to have one over here coming down. So let me bring this over, put that down there, bring this over so I can actually get started on some of these. Make sure I'm nice and straight for you all, and here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and use the repositionable with because it's a little bit tricky-ish. And just as the month for, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if because I did that first one first and then I got to this one, I was like, oh, I just did diagonal triangles, putting them together, but this one was definitely more sketch driven. And like I said, I didn't exactly follow the measurements, but I am following the essence of the sketch, I guess. Wouldn't be the first time that I don't exactly follow the sketch, but hopefully all are used to that by now, and that's why you watch my channel. It's because I don't always follow the sketch completely. And I'm going to place my multi-purpose tool just up and under here so I can get my little sunbeam slid in here too. I want to make sure this is lined up with the edge. Okay, and then this is coming across at the top. Let me get my sunbeam in and then I'll straighten out that. But at least I have it kind of placed where I want it. So the sunbeam is going directly at the edge. I did cut this one in half. Yep, I do need to adjust that just a hair. And here we go, bringing it over just a little bit and up. There we go. Okay, so this one does kind of create that diagonal at the edge here. And we do need a little bit of space in between as we go across, but I'm going to place this one next, and then I'll put our other squares down. So this needs to go after this, okay. And I think I wanted that little strip going under this one, but we may just do our scissors again because I really want to get this placed so I can get my placement of my squares where I want them also. And I think visually we need the border in place as well. So here's this one. And here's that, okay. And now, so this is going to be together, our point coming over, this is going up here a minute, and then this is, okay, so we have about, it's a little bit under 1/4 of an inch. So what is that, 3/8, 2/8? Here's 1/4, maybe 2/8 is the better way to say that one. But you do just want roughly the same distance in between. My tape runner, of course, ran out, which is why I'm glad I grabbed the refills before I started here. And, oh, fun. Okay. And here we go. Come on, back in business. So I have those two are for the top. Did I get some up there? I don't know. That's okay. If I didn't, I'm going to go ahead and grab these also. And this one. Okay, so here comes in, this one was with the diamonds, or the diagonal going this way, across, and yes, you can bring in your border tool again to catch your measurements. I feel like I'm just, need to go over just a hair. So if you want them placed exactly, you're gonna want that tool again to help you with that. I'm looking at my line here that I created with my placement of that first square to help me visualize going across my page, if that's going to help you all. Okay, and this one has the diagonals going along the outside. Pick that up. This is going this way. Okay. So again, I need nope, I'm too close on this one. I don't mind that this one's closer to the border. I just don't want it so on top of it, I guess. Bring that over just a hair. There we go. And then I'm going to scooch this one over just a little bit. Which is why I kind of gently placed. I didn't fully place it. There we go. So actually it's closer to 1/8 of an inch that one is on the page, and then our little sunbeam's going to tuck in to here coming up in just a minute. And you can see maybe I didn't get my squares done just perfectly, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. I don't know if anybody looking at the photos on my page are going to be like, oh, you didn't get your square exactly right. Well, nobody's going to say that to you. They're going to be looking at your photos and saying, what nice photos. I love this page. It's really pretty. But you're, reading the story about the pictures is what they are going to be doing. So let's get this one under here just a little bit. And I do have just a little nub where I cut my sunbeam, so I'm just going to take that little extra piece off. This is going to come in here, so it'll just peek out coming up. Here we go, come on. So the bottom edge of my punched piece is going along the bottom edge of my squares there. Okay, are we ready for the next one? Let's hope so, because that's what we're going to do. So instead of heart, I don't know, I'm not the biggest heart person in general. If you want to grab some circles and cut them and make hearts, or, your layout is going to be your layout, so do what works for you on your layout. There's that one. And here's this one coming down. Okay. So we match up I don't think we're going to match up either one of our patterns here. So So that one's going to be just a little bit off. This one's going to be just a little bit off too. I need to move this over just a hair. I matched up the little swirls when I was putting it down, and then I need to scoot it in just a hair bit more to line it up with the actual point of the center of the shape that we're making here. Okay. Get our next Sunbeam, and this I probably could just lightly place here. You kind of want the center of your Sunbeam in the center of the visual line there. But let's make sure we get this straightened out too here. And if we need to scoot the Sunbeam a hair, we can. Here's one that needs to go in just a little bit to line up with its edge. And here comes number 2 coming in. Yeah, that actually worked out pretty well for me. Okay. There we go. Whew, the hardest part is done. So, yeah, it was just a matter of cutting those sunbeams apart from a 12-inch border, and I can't remember if I had to punch 2 or 1, but let's see. I did 2 sunrise scallop, cut at 3/4 of an inch, 1 sunbeam border, cut at 1.5 inches and 2 inches. So these essentially are 2-inch sections. Okay, yep, the 1.5 inch deep and 2 inches wide, because our frame punches typically run on a 2-inch punch box. That's what makes it a frame punch. That's why you need like 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 in order to make the frame when you punch it as a frame. And I did line it up at the line for the frame, I believe. That's one thing I did not note. Okay, let's get our mats down. I'm 99% sure though I used the frame line versus the border line. And if you're curious about that, I do have a short on my channel that will show you where that's at with the Sunbeam punch. Okay. Our 4.5 by 6.5 mat goes down here. I'm going to lightly place it. I'm giving it about 1/4 of an inch margin. I forgot to place my little strip, this one, putting the repositionable tape on the lighter side because we are going to put the darker side down on the page, the one that had the stripes. And this is going right underneath our squares here. And like I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and wind up using my scissors again. This needs to be at the edge. Okay, and just place it going across. It's just adding an extra visual dimension across your page. You know what, let's just lift this up. This is one of the things our multi-purpose tool does well. Lift it up and push this under just a little bit. So keep your paper apart. Use your fingers, use your multi-purpose tool to just tuck that under and in. There we go. I want to make sure it stays straight going across our page here. And then I've got it angling somehow under my, well, maybe I should have just, all right, we're just going to trim it because it decided to fold itself anyways. So if you're better than I am and able to get that straight, I just wound up staying under. I just pushed it down. It's fine. It just visually, it was bending my paper a little bit. It was kind of going crooked once it got under the border. So now we have this little line running through our page, And that's where our wood piece is going to go. This is a 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 inch piece. And yes, we are going to have to cover up just a little bit of our design we made. There's only so much space on a 12 by 12 paper, even though I went a little bit smaller. And then this second one is a 4 by 6 mat as well, out of the wood tone paper. Okay, there we go. Left side of our page is done. Here we go. Okay, and now let's go ahead and get the right side taken care of. And you're going to see a lot similar to what we had on the other side of the page, although I do have, oh, I forgot my embellishments. Daggone it. Okay, let me bring that in real quick. I'm sorry about that. Does feel a little bit like a Monday. All right, Timeless is going up here, and I think we're going to place it on foam squares. Coming across here. Yeah. One more. Okay. So this was in our embellishment pack, the Timeless, because we have memories on the other side, and that's where I realized I forgot my embellishments. So just going below our middle sun here, and let's place our little piece of straight paper onto our tag. This piece, like I said, it's just a small little piece. I did measure out the tag, and then I cut this one at 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. And then my tag is going to come down right here in between, so I need to scoot this over just a hair. No, I think I can just tuck this under. Nope. Okay, daggum it. I usually don't move. No, it's gonna have to stay because I used regular tape runner. I usually don't move photos based on where the embellishments are going because the photos are more important. Here we go. That'll fit right there. And I kind of originally wanted it hanging from our actual, like where you could see the little line coming through, but it just, now in reality I'm gonna have to bring it up just a little bit, so it's gonna run through just like it's running through our wood here as well. And since I used the regular tape runner on it, I should easily be able to get my photo in here. And that's that. That's our embellishments for that side of the page. Like I said, on this side we have another border. We have another little strip that we're going to put on. Keep my scissors close just in case I need them again. And we have all of our pieces again. I do have a mat I cut in half here. This one is our, I'm just going to put that there so I don't forget it. Has the gingham on the back. So this becomes a 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 inch mat. And another 4 by 6 out of our wood tone paper with the plaid on the back, and then our other 4 1/2 by 6 1/2 mat that has the same pattern that's on our squares, but just in a darker tone. It has with you with the dots on the other side of it. And we also are going to be placing our dark green round embellishment. And let's see, Life's Little Moments sticker. This again is a clear sticker, but we're going to be placing that on, excuse me, that embellishment. do, let's just go ahead. I think I can do this. I don't know, because I remember they didn't all run the same direction on the other side, so we're just gonna go for it here. Scoot that over, bring these over here, scoot some of these over. Okay, I'm trying anyways here. My multi-purpose tool out of the way. Get myself back on the camera for you all. Here we go. Okay. So let's get our repositionable tape runner going again with our triangles here. At least we're going to start with some of them anyways. Okay, and again we're going to start at this center again, placing this one this direction. I'm going to bring in my other page just to make sure I am lined up visually with what we have over here. Try to not stick any triangles to my other paper. Yep, that looks good. So we're going to go for it. Or I'm going to go for it anyways. Here's that one. This one is coming in this way. Oops, I feel like now I've done it once. Hopefully the second time should go a little smoother, right? I don't know. Okay, multi-purpose tool to let me get this one underneath here. Just right at the edge here. Okay, and now number 2, like I said, about 1/8 of an inch. So let me, I think part of my issue is that my drawings are never to scale. So, because you know, I've been in a hurry, I've been, this one and the last one, I think, like I said on my community tab post, took me close to 3 hours just to get these figured out. So they were definitely a little bit more, for sure. Okay, there we go. I know I had that one just a little bit crooked. Fix that one. This one on top. Come on, work with me here. And you can place your bottom ones first. It's easier, I think, when you know where your top edge is of your paper. So, and I do need to tuck in my sun as well, my Sunbeam punched piece here. Okay, let's get this last corner down first. Our diagonal line towards the middle. Coming in here, yep, there we go. That one got that other one straightened out just a little bit too. I think that one's going to wind up coming in just a hair. This one. But I also need to get my Sunbeam under it, so while I have it up, I'm going to get this one tucked in if I can pick it up. Here we go, get this up a little bit as well. There's a whole lot going on here today. I think we have a marching band going by also. I don't know if the mic is picking that up or not, but you just never know what's gonna happen between the spider, the marching band. It's an exciting morning around here apparently, and I am missing a triangle, aren't I? Okay, it's under, I don't know where it went, so I'm just gonna do what I can do. And I'll find it after, and it's gonna be okay. There's that. I'm gonna do the bottom part, especially because I know that's where the Sunbeam is gonna go. Got my border I need to place. I just did that one crooked. Where did that other, I didn't want anything, well, I'll check the bottom of the other layout. Let's do this first. I know it wasn't in I bagged everything when I traveled with it, so that way I wouldn't lose any of the pieces, but sometimes things flow smoother than other times. Okay, let's straighten that one a little bit here. Get my Sunbeam in. And this is one of those times where I wish I could actually see the comments, because if somebody realized where my other square went, it would be easy to just check and see. But we're going to go ahead and get this placed under here, and then I'll put that other one of the top ones on anyways. It's a good thing this one doesn't have as much with it, because I can always cut another square afterwards, or I can always pull out this paper and cut one more as well while we're on, but I just don't want to take up too much of your time today, and I know these two layouts are already taking up, yeah, it's been a little bit. I've been live streaming here for a while. Where did I start? I started a little bit after 9:30. So it's been an hour and a half already. Goodness gracious, they just had a little bit more. Hopefully the last two will come together a little bit quicker for me. Here's that. Nope, no squares. No square there. No extra square there. Did I knock it off my table? I don't see it, so I'm just gonna continue going, and we'll know that there's gonna be one more here. I have my other line. I'm going to place the dark side up again, going across the page. That in from cutting the border maker. And I do want to line this up with the other side, so let me get that real quick as well. Okay. Here, coming across from right around here, visually through the page, it just adds a little bit. And then I'm going to just go ahead and trim it with my scissors. Maybe I lost it at the hotel. I don't know. Thought I had it all when I bagged it, but it's sometimes easy to miss. Okay, that worked out a little bit smoother as well. Let's get our mats on and get this one finished up also. Okay, our 4.5 by 6.5 is going over here. Again, give it about a 1/4 inch margin on both edges, the side, left side and the bottom. And our 4 by 6 is going to run up here as if it's coming down from our little strip. And then we should be able to fit this in here underneath, visually running along the same lines. This has about 1/8 inch margin from the bottom and in between. And finally we have our memories and our life's little moments. I'm going to just peel this one off for the backing. Again, clear sticker, so it'll show up nicely. Instead of using the cardstock, we're just using the embellishment behind it. Here you go, just place that one on there. And that's going in here. So you can see where the edges on this one go really nicely with our scallops. And you know what, I feel like, oh, of course I just put tape on it, but I'm gonna pop it up. It just looks, because I want to, this can be a journal box, but it can also be a photo mat. So if I decide to put a photo on that one, I want to make sure that my embellishment wouldn't be in the way. Really, it probably would just cover the edge of a photo. And usually the edges are background, grass, sky, things like that. I think I am going to just do that. I am going to pop up memories though. So let's go ahead and get this one going here and here. Okay. Here are the memories coming along the seam of this second one again. Okay. Let me bring in the other page, and I'll bring in some photo mats as well.